we're going to jump into our next topic. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to talk about just that, how the companies are reacting. There's a couple statements from Ford and GM and how Tesla has disrupted this market overnight, dropping prices across the board, $3,000 to $13,000 to even $20,000 overnight. And so other companies are like, this is tough, right? So we're going to take a look at this article that I found. But if you're just jumping in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on a Tesla at the best possible price, or just getting really good financing on your Tesla. So if you're interested in any of that, please hit that subscribe. Today's video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link down below in the description, but more on that later. All right, so this is the article. So Teslarati, shout out to them. I guess there's another article we have to look on there too, but quote, Tesla price reductions are causing disruptions in the US auto industry report. So if we take a look at this, it talks about what we just said, how Tesla reduced prices as much as 20% overnight from their previous point. Which the whole point of that is because they wanted their vehicles to qualify for this $7,500 tax credit, because they have to be, the Model 3 and the Model Y have to be under $55,000 as an MSRP build. But we got some responses here. Here's one from GM. A spokesperson from GM has noted that the veteran automaker is keeping an eye on Tesla's strategy, but the lower prices of the Sexy or S3 XY lineup has not had any significant impact on GM. Quote, it does not underscore the value of having a broad EV portfolio at multiple price points, which is exactly what we are developing, the GM spokesman said. I mean, GM's got that Chevy Bolt, as we just talked about. So, I mean, they have something that can beat, or at least, be a better deal, essentially, than the Model 3. But, they have all their vehicles coming out. They have like the Chevy Blazer, I think, EV coming out. So they've got a big, pretty, widespread portfolio for EVs. So I kind of agree with that. Here's Ford's response. A spokesperson for Ford, on the other hand, noted that the veteran automaker reported record sales for its Mustang Mach-E all-electric crossover last year. The spokesperson also noted that demand for its EV line, which includes the Ford F-150 Lightning, has been high, and thus Ford is keeping a close eye on the electric car market to maintain its competitive edge. I mean, you got to give it to Ford, right? They came to the market a lot quicker with this truck, the Ford F-150 Lightning, beating Cybertruck. But I mean, there's rumors that this Cybertruck might be coming out this year for sure, whether it's as early as middle of the year all the way to Q4. So hopefully we see some ramp in production on that. So maybe Ford F-150 was 6 months ahead or 1 year ahead quicker than Tesla. But you gotta remember, there is a Ford F-150 Lightning that has a base MSRP of $39,000, which is pretty competitive. Not to say you can get one, or it's possible to get one, because there's still dealers in between you and buying from the manufacturer. But that's sick, having a truck, an electric truck for $40,000-$50,000. That might be the move, that's for sure. But this article is, kind of interesting, right? It's basically showing that the other manufacturers are reacting to Tesla with the price cuts. And so, it's good for all of us. It's good for me. It's good for you in terms of the competition out there, because, now that Tesla is seeing that inventory is starting to stack up a little bit on the Model 3 standard range, we're going to see more, that price potentially go down. And we're going to see other manufacturers kind of see this and say, hey, we can't charge 40, 50K for an electric sedan. I'm talking to you, Polestar, we need to reduce our price as well, because this EV equation used to make sense, right? It used to make sense when gas prices were going up $4, $5, $6 a gallon. But now that gas prices are starting to go down, it doesn't really make as much sense when you can start to reduce your gas bill on a vehicle instead of, an EV car. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff. We're going to jump into some of the comments, some of the questions. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. If you're just joining in, there's a Patreon link down below in the description where you can support the channel. And there's a variety of benefits, including scheduling a call with me, where you can ask me any questions about buying a Tesla, selling a Tesla, or even financing a Tesla. And after you schedule the call, you get a link to my buying guide, which has links to all the resources that I use to get the best possible deal at the best possible price. And also, there's really good financing credit union on that list that is interesting interest rates as low as 3% for 60 months. So definitely check it out if you're interested. But let's take a look at some of the comments and some of the questions. Sorry, I'm a little backed up. Chris, do you think own Tesla wall charger or EV charging can charge everything? I would say get a universal one. Don't necessarily get a Tesla one. That's my recommendation, but I do understand that the Tesla one is like $400 versus a, wall box, juice box that a lot of people go for is like $500-600. So depends, right? I always want to go for sustainability and, long term. That's why I think just buying a universal one makes more sense. Chris and used to have S50 for very cheap since first buyer bought it. Yeah, for sure. Gotcha. Can we get a Manhunt report on the 2021 Model 3 performance? Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's see. We got 2021 already plugged in here. We switched to the all-wheel drive, switched to the performance. Hopefully you're still in the chat here. Gotcha. But yeah, so okay. A little quick data point right here. Ooh, actually a couple of most recent ones all through the last week, which is what we want to see. But look here, on January 18th, there was one that sold for 42,000, 21,000 miles. One on the 19th for 37. Wow, for 2021 Model 3 performance for 35,000 miles, and one on the 20th, 44,000, a little high, but 18,000 miles, and they're pretty much all over. But this one that sold for really low, it had a grade of 2.7. I'm not sure if that's actually worth it, right? Because a brand new Model 3 performance is 53 minus the tax credit, 47, so about 10,000, but it's like 2 years old with a lot of miles on it relatively, I guess. I'm not sure if that's actually worth it, but at the end of the day, for sure. Cake batter, I thought bolts were 21K after tax credit. Yeah, 19, 20, essentially almost the same. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Manute boy, that's a good deal. If I could fit in one, I would buy it for commuting in lieu of the Model Y. Yeah, bolts are small.